So we want to talk a little bit about administrative professionals in TNT, and we have Ms. Stacey Homer with us this morning, who is an HR executive. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
How are you this morning?
Great, great. It's Friday, like you said, so I'm glad.
Yes, we can see it. Everybody who comes on is smiling this morning, and because it's so exciting.
And that's of course my work tomorrow.
Well, that's in the minority. Let's focus on the good thing.
True. No problem, sir.
So we're talking about administrative professionals in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
Who do we consider to be administrative professionals?
So usually for the context of what we're speaking about with this week, especially where we had all the activities, it's those persons who provide a lot of the secretarial and administrative support. But more so, I guess, I personally call them the magic makers in a lot of our companies. They help us who are in management look good, they keep us afloat, and most importantly, from where I sit and a lot of us sit, they handle some of the most confidential and critical types of information that really they safeguard, and they're the gatekeepers too. So those are the types of persons who sit in those seats and handle those admin and secretarial tasks that really we have honored this week.
Yeah, and I was reading an article about administrative professionals, and they can actually save their boss up to 8 hours. That's a whole working day.
I think, actually in the oil and gas sector, a lot of them are referred to as PAs, personal assistants, and it's because they go beyond just a professional call. They also handle a lot of their personal schedules. And because of that, that's why I would really reiterate and say these persons are our magic makers, not just for our corporate world, but really for supporting and making sure we stay on schedule and we get things done.
Yeah. And their role, as you said, is very important in taking the organization forward as well.
Yes.
So, but where do you see this profession going in Trinidad and Tobago? Yes. How do you see it going as well?
Funny enough, there's a saying that fashion has its trends and cycles, and I think a lot of the fields that we're in experience that. So at one point, I experienced people wondering, well, is this something I should even pursue? What do I study to go into this field? And maybe there wasn't as much importance on it, but now I can definitely say from somebody who is in HR and has been in HR for quite a while, maybe it's not as valued of a profession as some people think it is, but it's highly critical to us, highly critical. So I've actually been in different organizations where these persons move up the ranks and earn in excess of what management would make at times. It's because of the criticality of that function. So I would definitely say it's not a dying field.
There's always the mentality that, you have to be the boss.
Yes, so that's true. And fortunately for some of us, it takes somebody else to make us that good boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is how you learn about organizations and how it operates.
Very true.
Before you get to the top. So from your perspective, you mentioned you've been in HR for a while.
Yes.
Tell us about your perspective when it comes to administration. So
first, like I would have said, one of the most critical things is confidentiality, and that's really the backbone of HR, but that similarly is the backbone for this profession, which is why I would say from an HR point of view that we really needed to value these persons and look at them, not just on the day that we had, but fortunately for us, and not just in Trinidad and Caribbean, other parts, we commemorate them for the entire week. And I think it's been an exciting week so far when you reflect on what has happened for the week. I've seen companies do things internally for their staff, send them on training, give them flowers, etc. And then I've seen companies on the other side put together things where it has become a revenue generating source for the week, whether it has been the different restaurants, etc., putting on a forum for them. Similarly, I'd like to also point out that these are the persons who have been benefiting throughout the week from many specials as well. Specials such as, and I would like to point out, specials such as even in Quartz Optical for this particular week, and we're committing to extending it continuously for the admin professionals. Even outside of this week, we want to offer them continued free eye testing. We want to ensure that they can choose their glasses, whether it's cash or on credit, and yes, we can do it on credit, and they don't have to pay anything for 60 days. They're getting 20% discount off of designer frames and digital lenses. And so all of these are packages that we give to our admin professionals because we too want to give back and say, whether or not you're working with us, we value you as an admin professional.
And I have to say a special good morning to the folks out at Quartz Optical this morning, especially the girls down at the Marabella branch down there. They are a fantastic bunch. I go down there all the time. I go down, and my glasses is actually from Quartz Optical. So,
I love it.
So, I have to go back.
Yes, and when you go, we'll make sure and we extend at least that same discounts to you.
Oh, you see, I am getting that same discount.
Yes,
you see, the folks at Quartz Optical, they are a wonderful bunch.
Yes.
And I must say that the service is pretty good. Every time I go down there, they always have a smile and they're always working with us to get what we want.
That's good.
Yeah, good morning to all of the ladies and gentlemen out at Quartz Optical.
Of course, if I could just also say one thing on your last point with when you said good morning to the gentlemen too, one of the things I think we can't underscore going back to admin professionals is I've also seen the field open up to the extent that there are now gents in this field. And one of the consultants that I use, his support is somebody who is male and in this admin field. And fantastic at it. So I'm actually very enthused to see that gender barriers are being broken even in this field, and that's quite exciting and indicative of the times.
Yeah, and that is important for administrative professionals and that profession to move forward in Trinidad.
Yes.
So you mentioned some of the initiatives over the week.
Yes.
What else was there?
So a couple of best practices that people continue to do. Give their staff that particular day off, as an example. Pamper them, you know. So I've been in places where we would have, as an example, brought in somebody who does a spa at the office for the person. Invest in their training and development. So send them to the different institutions that have put on programs on this particular day, whether it's to further their skill or just to enhance and fine-tune what they have. So it's really about showing appreciation, investing in them, and of course pampering is always nice. None of us would refuse that.
And if organizations aren't pampering their administrative professionals, what do we say to them?
I would say that there's this great place called Unicoma where we would ensure that they're well taken care of as well.
You see, Unicoma is a place to be then.
Yes.
So, on Wednesday, you know, some people would have gotten the days off, but you mentioned earlier as well that, you know, we shouldn't just look at administrative professionals on that one day or the 1 week.
Yes, and really, because my experience is, I'm very appreciative that we have this time, we take this time out for them. But you would have spoken about how you read the article where admin professionals save some of their managers 8 hours. And part of it is because I actually know some of them who don't cut off work at 4 or 5. You call them on a weekend and they're still really there, adding the support and doing what they need to do to make that person's life even easier. So I would say because of that, from the time anyone, whether it's an admin professional or any staff, goes above and beyond, it's incumbent upon us to make sure we always recognize those persons, because just also from an HR point of view, it's so hard to get good people that why do anything to lose them?
And good people is very, it's very hard to get sometimes.
It is very hard, yes.
So where do you want to see not HR professionals, I apologize, administrative professionals in Trinidad and Tobago going?
I would like to see from a corporate point of view that we place greater appreciation in this field. And I would like to see that, you know, while in a lot of cases we do allow secretaries or admin clerks, that we create a career path for them so that they can see, you know what, there's progression. You could one day become an admin manager, as an example, and so that they see that progression just like in other fields. Outside of just corporate, I would like to see, just as I would have pointed out, that more gents enter the field as well, so that we blur those gender lines and realize that, you know what, it's all about the skill set, not about the gender or the sex.
And I'm glad you mentioned males as well, because, you know, a lot of times when I sit here and I speak with people, we're always talking about women, and I always tell them that, you know, I think the males, they are starting to feel a bit left out, you know.
I hear that. I hear in our push for gender parity, you know, at times we can kind of push you guys to the side, but we're here also advocating to keep the playing field very level.
See, you see why administrative professionals are important? They make the males as well feel welcome and appreciated.
Yes, you all are. We need you all. Even if we don't want to admit it at the time, we need you all.
Yeah. So we want to focus on administrative professionals throughout the year because of what they have been able to give to us. What are some, I mentioned the 8 hours, but what are some of the other things that administrative professionals can do for the organization?
So apart from giving the support, the secretarial support, I would say a lot of times I've seen in companies, they've also become managers in their own right, whether it is they manage the ancillary staff, such as persons who might be our couriers, our drivers, etc. So they've honed in on a lot of supervisory and management skills. I think it's very important that because this is what they also do in their daily task, that we support them, we give them the necessary training, we continue to develop them, so that really this field is becoming one where, you know what, there's a management route for you to pursue.
So what are some of the qualities that you require to become an administrative professional?
Sure. While these may sound very, very straightforward, to us it's very critical, and these are our deal breakers. So one is confidentiality. The other one is time management skills. And and organization skills. Those are, I would say, are usually the top three in making sure that, you know, this is what separates you from the pack. And because the field, like I said, is morphing, once you can also show management and supervisory skills, you know, that's also what's going to separate you from the rest who may now be entering that field.
So if I want to become an administrative professional, what
Yes.
do I need to do? What do I need to have academically or anything?
Yes. So in the past, we would have had actually a lot more institutions that were dedicated to secretarial studies, admin professionals. We still have some of those institutions around. I would say that's one route. You can definitely pursue it by way of academic study. But another route is a lot of times we earn our skills from the seat of our pants, so to speak, right? Or from just being in the job. So I would say a lot of times it might mean just having somebody take a chance on you and teach you the role and let you master your craft and fine-tune your skills in the field.
And taking a chance is important, because a lot of times when young people come out of universities,
Yes.
they don't have that job experience, and people are always looking, you need to have 2 to 5 years experience to get into the field.
I remember that frustration many years ago when I came right out of school and people said, you have no experience. And I said, well, how was I supposed to get it if I were a full-time student at the time, right? But you're right. And it just means us giving people a chance, like how we're giving males a chance now in the field and those kind of things. You're right.
So it needs to be a more open market
Yes,
then.
yes.
Allow young people to come in,
Yeah,
and because
definitely.
young people also have ideas that may
Yes.
contribute positively to the organization.
Yes. And I think going back to the point I made earlier, the reason why at one point it seemed as though it was a dying field was because I think of a lot of the young and potential employees weren't really gravitating to that field. And so the onus is on us to ensure that it is a well-respected area and it does come across as if, you know what, it's lucrative to my career, whether it's in terms of progression, fulfillment, those kind of things. You know, I get something out of this field.
So what else can we expect from you as it relates to administrative professionals?
From corporate TNT, we will continue to definitely support the profession. We'll continue to ensure that I think on our side, when we recruit for it, we maintain high standards so that when persons are able to say, you know what, I'm an admin professional, people can acknowledge, okay, this is what the standard stands for. Apart from corporate TNT, in terms of recruitment, I think the rest of corporate TNT is really on board with rewarding and giving back to these persons and pampering, just like Quartz Optical did, and will continue to do. But, you know, that's what we do. We will continue to pamper these professionals and give back to them and make sure that we can celebrate it all week long.
Everybody likes a good pampering, eh?
Yes, everybody does.
I would like to thank you so much, Ms. Stacey Homer, HR Executive, for coming in and talking with us about the importance and the need to have administrative professionals in Trinidad and Tobago.
Thanks so much for having us.
It was an absolute
Thank
pleasure
you.
chatting with you this morning, and I would like to wish you all the best
Thank you.
for the rest of the day and with whatever endeavors you all have
No
set
problem.
out.
Thank you so much.
This is Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago. We take a break and come back with more.